Hello. We're recording this the day before Thanksgiving. Hope you guys are all preparing to have a wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends. And after you've done that, go on ahead and watch this video for Session 7, Part 1, Why Did Jesus Come?
Before we go into answering the why of this question, we really should take a second and remember what his coming is actually called, and that's incarnation.
So in Latin, the word incarnation, it means to become flesh. We touched on this during our Creed workshop session. This is a giant act from God to be seen as truly human.
Remember, when we're praying the incarnation during the Creed and the Angelus, these kinds of moments, we should be profoundly bowing. So, our first question: why would God send his son to die for people who hurt him? Took us a couple read-throughs to get through the English here.
It almost makes it seem like, okay, we know we're talking about Jesus, the man, but it makes it seem like Jesus came after he was hurt. We're just, for the sake of this, we're just going to assume that it means, why would God send his only son to die for people who don't seem to care about him? And with that, we can look at Catechism Point 604.
604 is a great accompaniment to the other catechism points that are mentioned on the sheet, but this one I think really straight answers the question. By giving up his own son for our sins, God manifests that his plan for us is one of benevolent love, prior to any merit on our part. In this is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his son to be the expiation for our sins. God shows his love for us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Some of the main parts that we wanted to point out in this, one, he did it out of love. We've talked about many times already that God did everything for us because he loves us. But the other main part about it is it did not have any merit on our part. He saved us. He opened heaven to us without us having earned it.
Question 2. How does Jesus' mission on earth impact you today, over 2,000 years later? Straightforward. Just like we talked about previously there, it redeemed us. And we still have to choose to participate in that same redemption. There was one redemptive act. It's not like we're redoing this over and over and over again. We still have a personal choice to use our will. Our journey's not done. We're still having to choose to get to heaven.
And we are still a part of it. It still impacts us every time we go to confession, every time we're able to partake of the Eucharist. That is Jesus' impact on us today. Next question. Could there have been other ways that God could have forgiven Adam and Eve's sin?
Okay. Let's be careful with this one. God is perfect truth and understanding. If God chose this route for our redemption, it's the correct one. There is no way that we can try to limit or redefine his action because we're not capable of fully understanding God, but we know he's perfect.
And really the way we should look at this is, thank goodness he gave us this chance. Instead of just ending everything for all humanity then, thanks be to God that he gave us this way to be forgiven. So what is our response to God coming to earth as man?
Well, it's pretty simple. We killed him. But through our new lens of understanding, because of that, because of what he did, because of our growth through the church and everything, we can look back at what an immense, immense blessing it was that he was given to us through the incarnation. So what is our response? Adoration, thanks, praise, just giving our life to him. Everything that we're doing here now to help teach, to reach other people is because we believe in this act.
So as we are starting the season of Advent here this weekend, remember that it is the season of the incarnation. This is the time to remember why Jesus came. If you don't know about it, the Jesse tree is the recounting and remembering of all those redemptive acts that God put forth for us. It is us remembering why we needed Jesus in the first place, so that when he comes to us on Christmas, we are ready for that. And it's really important that you help your students to understand that as well, because so many of them really don't understand what the point of Advent is for. And it's to help them to understand that Jesus did come to us for a reason, because he loves us, and that we should be taking these 4 weeks to really prepare our hearts for that.
Take that last question again. In this season, find your response to God coming to earth as man.
Thank you. Have a blessed Advent.